Hello everyone! Today, I'll be presenting the compliance requirements for exporting electronic items to Taiwan. This is really an important topic to follow if you're looking to expand your market reach. So without further ado, let's start with the presentation. So what exactly will we cover today? We've got a clear agenda to guide us. First, we'll look at why compliance matters when exporting to Taiwan. Then, we'll identify the key authorities and regulations you'll encounter. Next, we'll get an overview of all the compliance requirements before taking a detailed look at each specific item you'll need to address. And finally, we'll wrap up with some tips on ensuring compliance before you start shipping. So why does compliance matter in exporting to Taiwan? Firstly, it's about consumer protection. Taiwan has put in place really stringent regulations to guarantee the safety and quality of electronic products hitting their market. This covers everything from potential electrical hazards and radio interference to ensuring products meet environmental standards. They take protecting their consumers seriously. Second, it's directly linked to market access. If your products don't stack up against Taiwan's regulatory demands, they could face rejections at customs or get stuck in quarantine. You simply won't get your goods into the country legally to sell them. Third point, and this is big, are reputation risks. Taiwan is a market with high expectations for both quality and safety. Non-compliance can really damage your brand standing there. You want to build trust and not create doubt. And underpinning all of these are legal requirements. Electronic products must adhere to specific Taiwanese laws and regulations. We're talking about things like the BSMI regulations for safety and electromagnetic compatibility, rules from the NCC for anything wireless, and RoHS for environmental standards. These aren't optional, and they are legal mandates. Next, we have the key authorities and regulations. Navigating these regulations means understanding who the key players are in Taiwan. You'll definitely be working with the Taiwan Customs Administration. They're responsible for things like the customs inspection, managing import clearance, validating your HS code, and assessing the tariffs you'll need to pay. Then, there's the Bureau of Standards, Metrology, and Inspection, or BSMI. They're absolutely vital because they regulate product safety, electromagnetic compatibility, or EMC, and the labeling of electrical and electronic goods. If your product communicates wirelessly, you'll get acquainted with the NCC, or National Communications Commission. They are the authority that governs telecommunications and radio frequency equipment. And finally, the Environmental Protection Administration, or EPA, is crucial for enforcing the RoHS rules, which are all about limiting hazardous substances found in electronics. So what documentation do you actually need? There's a list of required documents. We'll go through each of these in detail, but here's a quick overview. You'll need your standard shipping documents like the commercial invoice and packing list, but also specific compliance paperwork like BSMI and NCC certifications, testing reports, and even drafts of your product labels in Chinese. There are 15 key items we'll cover. Let's start with the basics. Number 1 is the commercial invoice. This is more than just a bill. It's a detailed statement of the sale of your electronic goods. It needs to include the unit price, the total value, and the Incoterms you're using. Why is it so important? It's crucial for customs valuation and figuring out the import tax you owe. For example, when you're shipping something like isolation transformers, your invoice should describe them clearly as transformers or electrical isolation between circuits and specifically note their voltage specifications. This helps avoid delays caused by customs misclassifying your product. Next, the packing list. This document provides an itemized breakdown of what's actually in your packages. It should show things like model numbers, quantities, and dimensions. This list is a big help with logistics, makes customs inspection smoother, and ensures your sensitive electronics arrive safely. For example, if you're sending converters, your packing list should specify the number of units per box and how they are packaged, like using anti-static bags or foam-lined boxes, and the total net and gross weight for each carton. Document number 3 is your bill of lading or sea freight, or an airway bill if you're shipping by air. This is a critical transport document issued by your carrier or freight forwarder. It confirms that your goods have been shipped and are on their way. This document is necessary to claim the ownership and actually take delivery of your goods once they arrive in Taiwan. Example, for power inductors, the description of your BL or AWB should include the type of inductor, how many pallets or cartons are being shipped, and route details. Moving on to number 4 is the Certificate of Origin. As the name suggests, this document certifies the country where your products were manufactured. It's used by Taiwanese Customs to assess the applicable tariffs and to verify if your goods qualify under any of Taiwan's preferential trade agreements. Number 5 is all about getting your HS code classification right and having documentation to prove it. You need either official or internal verification that your electronic products is accurately classified under the harmonized system code used for customs declarations. Getting this right is paramount because it ensures proper classification, determines applicable testing requirements, and sets the correct tax rates. If the classification is inaccurate, it can lead to frustrating shipment delays, fines, or even over or underpayment of duties. For example, for land transformers, you need to use the correct HS code for transformers with electrical power handling capacity not exceeding 1 kVA and attach a detailed specification sheet to verify this classification. Next is the restricted party screening documentation. This involves having records that show neither the importer nor the exporter is on any prohibited party list. This step is absolutely vital for compliance with international export control laws as well as Taiwan's own security regulations. The product specification sheet is a technical data sheet for your product. It could detail the product's features, performance specifications, and power ratings. This document is crucial because it supports various safety certifications like BSMI and NCC, and helps with import permit evaluations and provides clarification for customs. Example, for a flyback converter, the specs sheet would need to include electrical specifications like input or output voltage range, physical dimensions, intended applications use, and thermal limits. Next is the packaging artwork or label mockup. You'll need a draft of your product packaging. This mockup should clearly show the design, any required regulatory marks like BSMI and RoHS logos, and essential product information. This is a requirement for the pre-market review process and ensures your labels meet Taiwan's specific standards for electronics. For example, for power inductors, your label mockups must clearly display details such as product name, the RoHS logo, and the country of origin, presented in both English and traditional Chinese. Building on the last point, the next one is the Chinese label draft or translation document. This is because Taiwan mandates the consumer product labels must be in traditional Chinese. This isn't just a preference, it's for safety and compliance reasons. You'll need a translation of all mandatory labeling information, including specifications, voltage, and any warnings. For example, if you're exporting delay line modules, you'll need to translate phrases like delay time and voltage range into traditional Chinese for the external product label. Now we get into the specific certifications. The BSMI registration certificate is a formal certification from Taiwan's BSMI confirming that your electronic products meet their national safety standards. This certificate is legally required for most electronic products before you can legally sell or even use them in Taiwan. Example, Power supplies, for instance, are specifically mentioned as needing to be tested and registered with BSMI before they can be imported and sold in Taiwan. Following the BSMI certification, you'll also need the product testing certification report. These are the results generated by testing labs that officially demonstrate your products meets Taiwan's technical and safety standards. This report is essential for applying for the BSMI certification and serves as proof that your device complies with local regulations. For example, for delay lines, reports from a certified lab should verify things like voltage stability, insulation resistance, and EMI compliance. Next is the RoHS Compliance Certificate. This certificate provides proof that your electronics adhere to Taiwan's restrictions on hazardous substances, things like lead and mercury. This is important for ensuring environmental safety and aligns with Taiwan's Green Mark initiatives. Next is the NCC certification. This comes from the National Communications Commission and is required for electronics that use wireless or telecommunication functions. This certification is mandatory for any device sold in Taiwan that has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular capabilities, or other RF-enabled functions. Example, for LAN transformers, NCC approval is only necessary if the product happens to integrate data transmission components that actually emit RF signals. The Material Safety Data Sheet, also known as MSDS or SDS, is a document that lists any hazardous materials that might be present within your electronic device, which could include things like batteries or certain chemicals used on circuit boards. This document is required for safe handling during transport and is needed for customs clearance, especially for electronics that contains chemical components. Example, for capacitor modules, the SDS would need to list the specific makeup of the item and provide instructions for safe handling and storage. And finally, the user manual. This is the instruction guide that comes with your product. It should include safety warnings, setup instructions, and usage information. Critically, this manual must be provided in both English and traditional Chinese. This is essential for user safety and is legally mandated requirement for consumer electronics sold in Taiwan. Example, for RF chokes, the user manual would need to explain connection diagrams, safety precautions, and maintenance details presented clearly in both languages. Now that we've covered the list of documents required one by one, let's move on to the next topic, which is ensuring compliance before shipping. Before you actually send your shipment, here are a few key steps to ensure everything goes smoothly. First, verify that all your documentation is complete and accurate. Double check everything. Second, confirm your product classification early. As we discussed with the HS code, getting this right up front saves a lot of potential headaches later. Third, check labeling and marking requirements meticulously. Make sure your product and packaging labels meet Taiwan standards. And finally, it's always wise to keep copies of all submitted documents. This is good practice for your own records and is necessary for any potential audit purposes. At Consultaire Inc. Group, we understand the complexities of exporting, so we offer expert services to guide you through every step, from document preparation to compliance checks. Let us help ensure your shipments are handled smoothly and meet all regulations. And that concludes this presentation. Thank you for your attention. Navigating these compliance requirements can seem complex, but getting it right is key to successfully building your brand and growing your business in the Taiwanese market. If you have any questions or need support, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us at csuccess@consultaireinc.com or hello@consultaireinc.com, or call us at 1-202-982-3002. Let's build your brand and grow together. Thank you.